Oh, talk about my timing, right? When the dogs can start barking. But good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Today I'll be discussing an interesting topic that I've been following here of late that I've been seeing being posted on CNET that you guys might haven't heard of, or you might have listened to it, but I want to give my perspectives and views on it as well. You know, trolls, hate speech, free speech, and the internet. Give me a little second here while I share these links. Won't take long. The links to these two stories are actually inside my description. I'm not really going to read too much from them. Quote sections out of them. I do want to make sure my volume's working. It's been an issue here of late, but we'll see. Oh, it is. But apparently my internet's not working that great. Figure that one out. Working just fine before I went live. You know, as I stated in my description, for those who haven't read it yet, there is a difference between, our Supreme Court has even ruled, you know, hate speech is protected under the First Amendment, and we need to discuss the facts of what it's about. It's about expression versus action. We are protected under the Constitution to freely express ourselves, peaceful protest and such. You know, protest, demonstrate. That is, in a sense, a form of action. Non-violently, you know, it's classed more as an expression. Now, when violence erupts, that is action. or when you start, as we've coined the term doxing, you start publicly putting people's information out there. That is no longer expression. Now you are acting, which violates the First Amendment. You know, just like trolls. As much as we hate them, they are essentially protected under the Constitution until they start acting upon those things. And start, stalking. There was a case in 1999 where somebody posed as his ex-girlfriend and gave out his ex-girlfriend's information, where she lived and stuff, and wanted to portray rape fantasy. You can actually find this in one of the articles as well. And basically got 6 people to go to his ex-girlfriend's store. And he was sentenced to 6 years for stalking and other crimes. There is a form when you can take it too far. Because once you take it from the expression part and start acting upon it, or releasing people's information, you are no longer protected by the First Amendment. And my issue with the whole thing is this stuff seems to be, last week it was about the troll thing, this week's about, I actually just read it from my description. Trolling victims take neo-Nazi website to court, which the article's right. It's one-sided, so I'm not really going to, both these articles are really one-sided, because they're being biased, and they're putting all the facts out there. The facts is, and this trolling victim takes neo-Nazi website to court, they've violated the freedom of speech. It's no longer, the hate speech is no longer protected by the Constitution because they acted upon it by releasing her information, sending her stuff, just like we all know, one website, one news site, where the doxing term really got mainstream, is, in a sense, once you release that information, you commit a crime. The threat of acting upon it can be argued. As well. You're starting to cross that proverbial line there, which is interesting. It's all about the wordings, but, what I'm seeing, they're not going after these trolls and hate speech, or they're going after the free speech, the ones who are just expressing themselves, bringing you knowledge, reporting things. We're the ones being targeted by, by Facebook, Twitter, by the major companies. They're not policing the real hate speech. They're spinning it as they are. And these articles, the articles are great. Scrub the hate off Facebook, Twitter, and the internet. It sounds good, except for when you get down here and start reading, it's all one-sided. They're not actually saying that, that they're censoring us. We know you. Chris Cabrera sees internet-spawned hate as an extreme problem requiring extreme response. That's why his Austin, Texas startup, Authenticated Reality, plans to create the new internet. Think of it as a completely new web browser that verifies the people who use it and the content it serves up. No more fake news, no anonymous postings. Everything you do on the browser is tied to a profile that's been verified by a driver's license or passport. You can surf any website you want, of course, but you'll find more reliable websites as well, all verified through his company and tied to actual people. The service attempts to end the culture of anonymity that's made the worst part of the internet possible. The company's bold idea is even baked into its website, the net.com. It's the Wild West, that's the problem, says Cabrera, Authenticated Reality co-founder and chief technology officer. With Authenticated Reality, you're putting your reputation on the line, Cabrera says. He'd be happy if 1% of the internet joins his service, but thinks the 90% of us won't. Us would want to. Still interesting, the service is free for now. It will eventually cost about $20 a year. The big guns. Facebook and Twitter will have to play a much larger role for any real change to occur. Many people associate Twitter social network with anonymous hate-spewing trolls, former Breitbart editor. Like I said, this is one-sided. Milo Yiannopoulos, for example, used Twitter to attack comedian Leslie Jones for appearing in the Ghostbusters remake, delighting other people who consider the all-female production a bow to political correctness. Yiannopoulos had agreed to an interview with CNET but canceled. And it's where he attacked feminist Anita Shakiris and developer Zoe Quinn and Brianna Wu for complaining about video game industry's treatment of women, inflaming a controversy that came to be known as Gamersgate. As a result of these other high-profile harassment campaigns, Twitter is trying to shield victims by hiding offensive tweets and making it easier to report attacks. The company also shut down 376,890 accounts in the last 6 months of 2016 as part of its effort to fight violent extremism. Well, my problem with that, I know a bunch of people that got their accounts shut down. And guess what? They weren't spewing hate. They were going against fake news and reporting truth and real stories. Those are the ones they shut down. Yes, they might have caught a few. Facebook pays more than 7,500 people to monitor what people post, including violent videos and graphic images. Well, can't tell. Because as we've come to find out in their TOS, some of that stuff is actually protected. You can kill an animal on YouTube because it's educational, as they're wording of it. Or, you can stream with some of the stuff that's been streamed that they've been hammered for, but they let it go. Or you can be a radical Islamist and continue to spread hate. But yet, they're here in the United States. They are protected by our Constitution because they're not acting upon it. They're telling their followers to go do this and how to do it. See, like I said, we deal with a slippery slope here. Up until they commit an act, they haven't violated our constitutional right. They're protected by the First Amendment. Up until they act upon it, such as releasing somebody's information, that is acting on it. The company is also investing in counter speech, effectively highlighting positive commentary to drown out the negative. Some people, for example, may have seen anti-Muslim posts in their news feeds surrounded by posts of news stories about Muslims raising money to clean up desecrated Jewish cemeteries. I have yet to see that one. Facebook also programmed its computers so people can't create groups with hateful terms in their name anymore. What is it? What do they deem such things? It's becoming a problem with these companies because, like I said, the proof's in the pudding. We've seen it. They have not targeted these people. I still go on there, see this very same stuff that we've been seeing, but I see more and more people like the truther communities their sites being taken down. Not so much taken down, but their channels being removed or getting community strikes. Or on Facebook, your groups are being removed. I mean, where do we draw the line in the sand? Well, one, I draw the line in the sand when I still see the same shit they're claiming to be taking down or fighting against. When I see some of my videos get removed, links getting removed, like Facebook did to me. The fact that I can't create Sons and Daughters of Liberty on Facebook, oh yeah, it's considered hate. You know, I haven't been really messed with on Twitter, but I've seen things on Twitter happen as well. I mean, my friend, back when they were doing the thing last week that was trending for almost 3 days, he had posted something, made a comment, I went to comment on it, and the tweet disappeared. He didn't remove it, he got shadow banned. And the tweet actually got removed, is what ended up happening. But, you know, what the hell? They're making it so we just can't talk about nothing, especially if it's truthful. You know, and that's been a trend. You know, I'm all for cleaning up some of that crap. We don't need that crap anymore. We live in an age where that crap shouldn't even exist anymore. But they are, you know, for those of us living in the United States, they're still protected as long as they're expressing themselves. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem. Well, I do. I can't say that because I have a problem with the guy in Dearborn, Michigan, who basically the shit that happened at the London Bridge we all remember about. He was the one on doing live streams telling people to go do it, use these vehicles, use these tools. But he's protected, you know, and that bothers me more because I was affected by it. That was, you know, reality hitting real close to home. I don't live in Europe, but I have family that was there. I had a cousin, a niece that was right there when all that went down. You know, then the thing that happened in Flint, I live 2 hours from Flint. Then come to find out what's been happening with these unsealed cases that nobody knew about. The one in Columbus, the one in North Carolina. But if we talk about them, our channels get censored or our videos get removed. We're dealing with, you know, where do we draw the line? Where do we step up, stand up? You know, just like the other article, this lady, you know, I mean, yeah, she's got they violated the law. They broke the laws. But we also have so many other laws. Anti-bullying policy, anti-discrimination policies that actually, in a sense, goes against our freedom of speech. As long as you're speaking it and expressing it, and you're not acting on it, you're protected. We need to figure something else out. But the answer is not these tech companies, these corporations, because that's what they are. Because they're not doing the right thing. They're going after, they're all mad because this person didn't get elected, or they're all this one-sided on the politics. Like I said, I mean, you read the articles, you see how one-sided it is. Now, they don't talk about how it's the truther community, it's the regular, everyday citizen, it's those that had strong views, that supported Trump. It was them that got censored, you know, or those that speak out against the radical Islam. You know, we're the ones that get nailed. And, well, there's reasons behind that. For those that don't know, YouTube uses an AI. It monitors everything you're saying during a live stream, or while you're uploading it. It checks your vocal your pitch, male or female, what words you're using. If you use certain words, don't even think your videos are going to get, analytics are going to be right, or you're ever going to trend a video. It'll mysteriously make your links disappear that you shared. That's why I've got to know. I just copy the link and go paste it on the website. Quit using the sharing thing. Yes, it takes a little bit longer to start my stream, but at least I know my video's up. But then again, I've done that, and I've watched Facebook remove my link from the messenger. Remove my link right off the feed. Why are we the ones being targeted? You're making a big deal out of it. Oh, that's right. It's a form of censorship. It's a form to silence a movement that is trying to spread truth. You know, that's what it just boils down to. But I keep seeing more and more of these articles pop up. You know, but yet they're all one-sided. They're all saying, you know, some of what we want to hear, but the proof's not in the pudding. They're doing the opposite of what they're saying. The people they're going after, yeah, they might get a few groups, you know, but nothing. You don't hear nothing being talked about with BLM right now, and how almost all the heads are being rounded up, you know, or Antifa in New York being labeled a domestic terrorist organization. They had that coming. But my problem with that is, when are they going to go after some of us and deem us the same thing because we're doing peaceful protests? It's another way to shut down a peaceful protest. Well, you just label any group that comes together to form a protest as domestic terrorists. And it's a way to silence. So there's a dangerous, like I said, it's a slippery slope. There's two sides to a coin. And they're playing a dangerous game with our freedoms. Because when you start doing that, it allows them to do, that's the drawback. When you write a law or you make a law like that, it's now in the books. Now they can use it to target other groups that aren't even associated or don't even do any of the things they do, that are peaceful, that use the form of expression, use what the First Amendment is meant to be used for. But now we can be targeted because we're amassing the numbers. Those are, you know, back in my days, in the 90s, where the gang thing used to be really, really bad. They passed laws where you couldn't walk. If you were walking more in a group of more than 3 people, you could be pulled over. Cops could tell you and charge you for gang activity, even though you're just walking with friends. It used to be like that for a while. You know, they finally got rid of some of those laws, which is good. But it also prevented, and that's how they end up getting the laws removed, it was preventing people to come together and protest peacefully. You know, I got this thing when it comes to anonymous people. When you have anonymous sources or anything anonymous, you find people that can collaborate and back the same story that won't be anonymous. That protects your anonymous sources, but allows you to use them because you got people that actually can back it. It gives credibility to the anonymous source. I can tell people that, you know, that's my way of doing it. You know, it's the way it should be done. Old school investigative reporters, that's how they used to do it. You know, I try not to use any type of hate speech. Sometimes it's said, terminology, slang, we said, but it's not in the form of hate speech. Because, I personally dislike it, distaste it. But I also recognize that it is protected under the Constitution as long as it's used as speech and a form of expression, minus the action. But now we've got corporate entities such as, trying to control what is posted, what is said on the internet. The internet was meant to be free for people to express themselves. But we live in a day and age where they take that and start acting upon it. They use it as a tool to incite. And then they start using the examples of what happened in Virginia with police. Because this person was on these groups on Facebook that were more hate-oriented was the reason why. No. That person is accountable for his own actions. He chose to take what he learned from that environment and act upon it. Because we talk about such things, I could be, in their terminology, the way they're defining groups and stuff, as, Sons and Daughters of Liberty, 1776, he talks about history, therefore he's talking about hate. He's talking about wars. Or he's talking, or very seldom talk about Lima, but I recognize its existence, and I'm very much against it. But that's how they're censoring us. They're using the same thing they're complaining about, but they're not going after the right people. And that's the issue I have. As you guys can see, like I said, links in the description. Go read the articles. And all right, they're just one-sided. And, like I said, it's another form of psychological warfare. They show you the one side of it, and they make it all seem like, yeah, they're right. What they're talking about, yeah, I can relate. That's wrong. But they're not talking about what they're really doing. For those of us that's been doing these things, we see it. And sometimes it's causing a division even in our communities when we get on certain topics. Because, like I said, the Supreme Court ruled on the verdict of hate speech. Let's get off the subject. But all of a sudden now everybody's more and more attacking it. It's like our Supreme Court doesn't even exist right now. Anything they say, they're just okay. They don't mean nothing. I can't say I haven't felt that way about them in some of the decisions they've made, like taking the Pledge of Allegiance out of the school. But, they've done some things here of late that's been all for the Constitution. It's been about the Constitution. They've actually done their job here of late. And I commend them for that. I don't forget about what they've done in the past, though. The things that need to be brought back up in front of them and re-ruled on. The bottom line is, when you see, that's the danger when you start convincing people they can take people to court for hate speech, for expressions, to expressing something. It's different when you give somebody's name out, information, address, phone number. You committed a crime. You acted upon it. You gave other people the tools to act upon it. As far as I'm concerned, we have a way to monitor our own crap. I see stuff that looks more violent, more threatening in my chat. Yeah, it's getting removed, or my comments, it's getting deleted. I'm gonna let most things slide. It's, when I deem you went from expression to more of an action, then yeah, I'm going to not even let you disrupt my chat or disrupt my comments. You know, half the time I'll take what they're saying in my chat or in my comments and prove a point with what I was talking about, which usually runs them away to begin with. Then the other problem is a lot of cases we're dealing with bots when it comes to trolls. It's not actually a person. I'm just finding it more interesting the more I'm watching, observing some things. The articles that are being put up on CNET of all places to be discussing these two topics. Yes, it's related to the internet, so yeah, they would be talking about it to a point. But I would never calling them for being so one-sided. I mean, everybody's entitled to their views, beliefs, and opinions. This just happens to be mine. What it does, it goes back to what Mr. Anderson had asked me a couple weeks ago in the chat. Who can you trust? My only answer to that, trust the people that you have been following, the people that you know, that bring you reliable, credible sources of information. I mean, that's who I trust. And I don't trust them all the way. I still go take what they say and research it. Make sure, okay, because that is our job. Our job is not to our job is to take everything with a grain of salt. They make sure, because we're their checks and balances. And a lot of them appreciate it when you do that. In case they get something wrong, like my friend today. I shared a link from a live stream about the school thing that was happening in, can't remember where it was now, but since it was a live stream, and they jumped from that stream to another feed, basically did whatever they were streaming, they got ran off, and they never went back to it. So people clicked on the link, and they were talking about, something else. Had nothing to do with what was happening at that school, why that school was on lockdown. Which is kind of screwed up in a sense, because, for like an hour to 2 hours, that was the title of their stream. And they haven't really uploaded the video, so I haven't been able to go back and just share that section of the video. It's another way to kind of, in a sense, when they do stuff like that, it's another way to discredit somebody. Don't like it and made a decision after the day. If I want to share something that's being live streamed, I'll just not. Especially that one particular channel. It's not the first time they've done it. I mean, yeah, breaking news was what the hell's going on, but apparently they didn't want nobody else to know. So, each of us got to understand, trolls, they're not going anywhere. As much as we dislike them, I find them idly amusing. As long as they don't get too disruptive, let it go. Or as long as they don't go from expression to action. In the end, guys, I think the best way to look at these topics is we police our own content. Just like we see a bunch of feeds that we don't like, that's more one-sided, unfollow, block it, report it. Not that it's going to do any good, because they don't seem to want to take those feeds down. First time one of my stuff gets blocked or reported, it's instantly taken down. So, like I said, there's the best form of policing when it comes to the internet is ourselves. Content we want to see or we don't want to see. And if it's a friend that keeps posting it, well, and you've expressed yourself that, hey, especially when you can't tell them any different, that, dude, that's fake news, it's fake report, it's not legit. Remove them. Cut the cord. Trust me, you'll feel a lot better. I've done it on Facebook. I've had to cleaned up my feed because I hated going to Facebook. And I go there for families pretty much anymore. But I still have friends that I want to stay with. There's just a few that just got overboard with it. They wouldn't stop. When you tried to correct them, it was instant attack mode. I don't need that. You can refriend me when you get some sense. If not, no loss. Apparently you weren't a friend to begin with. And, the best policing is really us. Policing our own content. What we want to see and what we don't. We don't need no corporations or no tech companies to do it for us. I mean, it'd be great if they would, and they'd do it right, but they don't. And that's the point. Because here's the danger of all this. And that's what people, I don't think, really realize. It's a way to take control of things. It's a way to censor everything. So only what they want to be talked about is discussed. If it's a subject or a topic they don't want to be brought up or told to the communities, they silence you. They call it hate speech, or they call you a troll. So, something for you guys to think about. Like I said, these articles have been popping up more and more and more. I've seen them on other places. It just shocked me because I'm subscribed to CNET because one of the safer places to download software and programs. Plus the notifications you get when your programs need updated. Normally I never pay attention to news stories and stuff. It's, just like they have a good one on cryptocurrency. So, like I said, it's becoming more one-sided, these articles, and it's like, I'll just tune them out, but I'll make sure other people are aware so they can see what's going on. But I can see the dogs are going to get wound up again, and I didn't want to make this a long video. So, like I said, think about it. Check out the links. Read them for yourself. Think about some of the things I said. And many of you already know, because you've experienced it firsthand how they are treating us. They're not going after the real hate speech or the real fake news. They're going after us. So, our job is just to make people aware. Bring it up, talk about it for a bit. In the end, people's got to police their own stuff. Because not everybody agrees that hate speech should be protected under the First Amendment. And that's your right to believe that. I personally believe what my forefathers said about it. It is. It is when it becomes no longer action and speech, or expression and speech, where it becomes action, where you act upon it. Whether it be releasing someone's name or information, or violently protesting, that's where the line is to be drawn. in the end, we have to police our own content, police ourselves. We don't want it. The person that keeps posting it, remove them from your friends. Block them. Or don't block them. I mean, maybe they'll change their views and opinions later because they might not be fully awake to things. They just might be caught up in the rhetoric and the system that's being trying to brainwash them. It's the thing to think about, guys. You know, because I'm actually getting tired. Watched a good live stream last week. Dabu and them, Friday night, Underground Wellness. You know, wanted to share it with a few of my friends because they were talking about some really interesting stuff. But because some things that were said, they were forced to censor themselves. And it should not be that way. And I got a problem with that. Nobody should have to censor their stuff or worry about because they say certain words, they're going to get a community strike. That's wrong, especially when they're speaking the truth. Educating people. Because now you're making these communities fearful of, you know, getting that community strike and losing their channel. They're not being able to live stream. That's the problem with this whole topic. These things are happening. You know, my message to those guys, quit being triggered by your audience. Quit paying attention to chat. That's what your moderators are for. It's cool to interact with your chat. But when you see that, let your moderators do it. Don't get off topic. Don't get heated. Or if you do have an issue with somebody because they did something that's part of the community, bring it forward to the community so they know. That way that stuff don't come up in your chat. Or somebody will correct the person in your chat of what they did. Because as long as you're not doing what I do and show my chat, sometimes, because when I share screens, so I'll just share the screen and share the chat and show the chat. There's nothing to be censored, as long as you don't react to it. I am glad he did repost some of the topics that they were talking about. You know, he shouldn't have had to, though. He shouldn't have had to worry about taking his channel to putting the video private or deleting it afterwards. I will never do that. You know, to get a community strike, well, let's go to a backup channel. I've got enough channels to, you know, if something happens, cool, I can just go to a backup channel. But my fear on that is eventually they might do what Wikipedia did and start collecting your IP addresses and blocking your IP address.
Andy?
What?
I'm going to go fix those.
So, you know, like I said, it starts with us policing our own content. But I'm going to get off here because those dogs aren't going to shut up now. He's going to take them out for a walk. Especially if that one right there doesn't go first. But, like I said, if you guys enjoyed, hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button, share button. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I will be uploading a video later from the live Independence Day video I did on the 4th. I'm going to start taking the shorter clips out of it so people can actually tune into some of the topics we did discuss. The first one's going to be on the cryptocurrency thing with Chris while he was involved. And, you know, throughout the week I'm just going to take clips from it and upload it so you get shorter versions of it. Plus I got a few other things in store for this week for live stream, so that's why it's important to subscribe so you know when I go live, because like I said, it's getting harder and harder to make sure all my links are getting out there when I have to do it manually, because you can't trust the share anymore. You got to literally take your embed, copy link or embed and post it. And Sometimes that don't even work. Now tomorrow, for those that are wondering about my little experiment, finally got the analytics. Took a week. Imagine that. And I will walk you guys through that and just show you that little investigation I did on that one. Like I said, I won't be doing that again because I'm not about, trending, because you guys have heard my opinion on trending, and I'm going to also do a video specifically on trending this week. So I will catch you guys next time. Remember, we the people for the people. Support your communities, guys. We're supposed to be a community that's not divided. Put your differences aside and support the community as a whole. Not all of us are always going to agree. We're going to have our disagreements. But we cannot be divided anymore. Because the more they divide us, the harder it is for us to keep doing what we're doing. That's a very important message that needs to be told. So I will see you guys next time. You guys have a good week.